Yes, this video is about winterizing my van, but first I want to go and warm up. I spent the night at Halfway Hot Springs, and it looks like I'm the only one who is here. How sweet is that? I did not expect to get this place all to myself. So I'm going to enjoy a nice soak and then head back on up and start on those projects and get that van ready. I've already dealt with, I don't know, 2-3 nights with -4, -5. And yeah, it's time to add those little extra things that I do every winter and get on ready because it ain't going to get any warmer, unfortunately. At least it's warm and not a cold plunge. Oh. Oh. I didn't end up having those hot springs for that long to myself, maybe 10 minutes, which is pretty good. And then a group of ladies came down and then a few more people, and then the rain started. There's just something about soaking in nice warm water, totally submerged with just your head poking out and the raindrops just falling on your face. Oh, fantastic experience for sure. But speaking of moisture, that is one of the things that I need to take care of in this van throughout the winter. Because I don't have a diesel heater, so I don't have that dry heat going on in here at all. And, well, yeah, a lot of moisture happens on these windows, or condensation. So I utilize these moisture bags right here. So I'm going to put 3 of them out. Actually, I already have 1 out. And let me show you. Let's see if it's accumulated any water. Put it out about 3 weeks ago. I put that one in the front here. And yeah, see, like, look at that. I already got quite a bit. That's just from the one. Wow. I particularly like these ones that hang up. I just find that they're a little easier to put to the side compared to having the containers, right? Because you got to find a spot and let some air ventilation. So hanging these up is just a bonus. And it's so easy. You get a little spare hanger and clip it in there, which will take me longer to do than to talk about, right? Like that. Like that. Come on. There you go. Just like so, and then we're going to hang it up over here. And I'll just clip it up into here. And there it be. I don't seem to use more than 12 of them through a season, but it also depends on where I spend my winter. So say I'm in the Okanagan, it's a drier area, well, I don't get as much condensation buildup on my windows. But when I'm on Vancouver Island or out here in the Kootenays, well, needless to say, a lot of condensation builds up. So yeah, there's just more moisture that's pulled out of the van, which is a good thing because it's stopping any molding from happening and keeping my inside of my van a drier environment. And a couple reasons for condensation building up is, one, I do cook inside my van. Now, don't worry, I do open up the windows and create some ventilation. And the other reason is I breathe. Plain and simple. I just breathe. And paper towel works wonders for absorbing water. And then I have the other choice of just starting up the van, turning up the heat, boom, and letting it do its magic out the window. Just as I was getting ready to record the next scene of another way that I get condensation off my windshield, my neighbor came and asked if I can go ahead and give them a jump because their battery's dead. So I went ahead and did that, and then I just drove off, and there went my other scene of showing you the campground as I was leaving. So let's start off with the other way I get condensation off my window. That would be a squeegee. So yeah, I just kind of put a towel down on the dashboard and clear off the window that way. And yeah, the towel dries while I have the heat on and good to go for the next day. And when I was leaving the campground, I wanted to share how there was 15 campsites there, give or take. There was what you bring in is what you take out type of deal. And it was $20 a night. It wasn't too bad. Their sites are a little bit on the smaller side, but that's okay. And yeah, it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. But I did notice when I was going up there that there was a side road, I think maybe like 3-4 kilometers away from there, where you could possibly boondock. So that is where I just drove off to go ahead and film the rest of this part of the video. And yeah, let's go check it out. Fire ring here. There's a road down this way. The river's not too far away, so this probably does take you to the river. But then there's also another road over this way. Now, this would make a nice little tuck-in for your camp spot. But yeah, another road goes down this way. Oh, what is behind those corners? But I do have other things I need to do. Let's get back to winterizing this van of mine. Don't get distracted. Though I do have places to go. So yeah, kind of doing it periodically throughout the day as I'm traveling my way to Revelstoke. And the first thing we're going to be using is this Gorilla Tape because, well, I need to try something new. That has to go back in here. Whoop. See, I've been using this Velcro, but it's just not sticking very well. So I'm going to try something new. Maybe. There we go. Well, first things first, I better clean the window. This does not work so well tilted. There we go. You're probably wondering, well, why are you doing all this? For what purpose? Well, that is for my insulation. Now, I know this isn't actually insulation. It is Reflectex, but it does stop the draft on the windows, right? So yeah, this works very well. I have painted the other side black. So I was trying to be stealthy at the very beginning of van life. So anyways, I just kept it that way. Haven't bought new ones to cut out. So yeah, I'm going to tape that up into here and leave it and forget it type of thing. And that shall do it. Oh, I'm seeing some of that silver coming through. They are a few years old now. Yes, I was utilizing the Velcro like I was saying, but I found they weren't sticking due to the moisture. So I'm hoping that the Gorilla Tape will do that job. Fingers crossed. I put several of these pieces on. I thought, oh, it'll be fairly easy to get these off. Actually, no, this one's pretty good. But I also just cut my nails. That was not smart, was it? But we're doing all right. Oh, I'm really making this seem easy. Kinda. There we go. All right, here it goes. Hopefully this will work for the winter. I also utilize blankets. I prefer wool because they're thicker and it kind of just helps create an extra barrier against the cold in the van, right? So you're probably wondering, why have you not done a build out in your van and properly insulated it? Well, the reason being is I am still financing this van, and I clearly stated in my agreement that I could not do any modifications to it whatsoever, and I don't want to go against that rule just in case I need to take the van back and refinance something else or whatever. So I just don't want to ruin that code. So I stay in my no build, and it's worked. I've been doing this now for just over 5 years. So this will be my 5th winter in my van. Now, I do not live the same way that I started off with van life in the winter. My first winter, I ended up doing, like, I guess you can say a barter type deal. And I had electricity into my van. And that was also the last year that I had electricity for heat. Ever since then, I've just been roughing it. Okay, well, one part of a job done. I still have another window, possibly two, to do the same thing too, but I'm going to do that later on. And it's time to head on to the next destination, which would be a ferry ride. So many people camping here. Like, never ever have I seen it this busy. I always like to pull into this little campsite. It's just like right after the ferry. Shelter Bay Provincial Park, I think is what it's called. And yeah, I just kind of wait till all the ferry traffic's gone by, because I like to take my time and enjoy my drive, unlike some others who kind of, speed on through. But while I'm here, I'm going to tell you another thing I do to winterize. And that would be my tires. Yes, I do put on all-weather tires, so that's different than all season, but not winter. But it still gives me what I need to go over the mountain passes in British Columbia. And that would be the M&S with the snowflake. The reason why I choose all weather is just due to the fact that I don't really have a place to store tires. Well, I guess I could find a place to store, but I can't guarantee that is where I will be when it's time for me to change over my tires. So what I do is I get 2 new front tires every year, and then I switch the fronts to the backs. And that is how I do my rotation with my tires. And that seems to work. I've had no issues, and I get a good quality tire too. So, just don't want to take those chances. And of course, I adjust my driving to weather conditions as well. So if it's snowing, I choose not to drive. I will hunker down and wait for the storm to pass. So yeah, that is another winterizing thing that I do. and we're going to continue on into Revelstoke now and do some more work on the van. Just got to think of a place where I can go and hang out for a bit to do that. And there's one more thing I need to check out that I should have mentioned when I was looking at the tires was the snow chains. I do have a set that were given to me, but I've honestly never even attempted to put them on. Well, sorry, that's a lie. I did attempt to put them on one time. I got them all out of the box, untangled, and I looked and there was coming a snow plow, so I threw everything in the back seat and just went ahead and drove behind the snow plow. So I have not actually checked them out. So I need to do that, because if they don't fit, I am going past a Princess Auto in the next few days or so after I leave Revelstoke, so I could get a new pair then. So yeah, note to self, must go ahead and check those chains. Doesn't look like a bad view to do this next job. So what I need to do is clean the rubbers around my door. So I'm going to try something different this year because, well, have you ever had the issue when your rubber freezes and you can't open your door? Well, I have. And a lot of it has to do is just due to the rain or the moisture and then the cold temperatures. And yeah, well, needless to say, my door's sealed shut. So I'm going to try something different. But first, let's clean these rubbers. I had heard that if you put oil on your rubbers, then it would prevent it from freezing. So I decided to look into it a little bit more to find out what oil in particular. And, well, it happens to be a silicone lubricant, which was recommended. So that is what I have purchased right here. So yeah, we're going to spray that around the door frames and, well, once again, fingers crossed that it's going to go ahead and do what it's supposed to do. I put that lubricant on the rubber around the door as well here. Yes, I am going to be heading up into some cooler temperatures in the next week and a bit. How exciting. I don't imagine it's going to be too long in the cold because I am heading to the West Coast, just the northern part of the West Coast. So once you hit the coastlines, the temperature's kind of mild out a little bit. But yeah, before all that though, I'm going to be hitting some cold. I'm sure, like, you know, Quesnel, Prince George, Terrace, Smithers, you know, those types of areas. So gotta be prepared. Maybe I should share with you on what I do when my doors do freeze shut on me. Well, luckily I can climb from the back to the front, and I can start up the van and go for a nice little drive until the doors thaw out and I can open them again. The daylight sure does escape us so fast. I am going to camp out pretty darn close here to the Columbia River. It's pretty low. It is a part of a dam, hence why it's so low. I just have a couple more things left to do in the van, and yeah, I am pretty much winterized now for this season, and that is how I live a very minimalistic winter van life in my van. I'm going to do another video in a few weeks or so on how I actually keep warm within my van, because I have a couple little secrets on that too that I wouldn't mind sharing with you. And yeah, anyways, yeah, head back to the van. necessarily one of the quietest places, but it will do. And I kind of touched base about this a little earlier, and that was the wool blankets. So I got one here and a moving blanket. It's nice and thick as well. That is just for my divider alone, and I'll show you the rest of it in just a moment. And I have Reflectex on all of my windows, the side as well as the back ones. And I use those binder clips to hold the curtains into place. So I need to focus on this, so I'll fix that up tomorrow. I do have a piece of Reflectex for this window. I just don't secure it. I like to be able to remove it. That's just because that's the window I do my shoulder checking out of. And it goes this way. So yeah, I just kind of tuck it up into place here, and hope it's gonna stay in for the night. I do need to come up with an idea. If you have a suggestion on how I can secure it and move it, but it can't be Velcro. I have tried magnets before in the past and that didn't work. Or do I just go ahead and keep doing what I'm doing? And then I'll pull my curtain across here and connect it up back in this way, and there you go. That is the best that I can do to keep my little living space insulated for the winter time. And for the divider here, I do it in half, so I can utilize this front half and tuck it into that visor up there. And it gives a great division between the temperatures between front and back. So it does work. I do notice a difference for sure. And there is a couple other things that I need to look at, and that is fluid levels. So making sure my wind washer fluid is ready to go, also my oil, and I have had my emergency brake light coming off periodically while I've been driving. I'm more so going uphill, and I did look into it, and that could indicate that my brake fluid is low. So I have already checked, and sure enough it is at that minimum point, so it's probably hitting that sensor, and that's why it keeps going off and on every so often. So I will be filling up that tomorrow. And yeah, I do hope you have found that information to be useful, and maybe you can utilize a thing or two from it, or maybe it just kind of triggered something of, oh, maybe I should check that or do that in your own winterizing and getting ready for what they say out here could be a cold, snowy winter. Of course, time will tell. Anyways, I am going on a huge trip, and I hope you decide to join me. So if you like to be notified, push that subscribe and the notification bell and tag along with me. Until next time, take care of yourself. Bye-bye.